So this week is Thanksgiving, which happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And so the children are off of school, and so it kind of puts a damper in my, predictably unpredictable schedule. And so I am here before the sun rises, so before my sunrise walk, and we are baking a lot of cookies today. So I decided I would do a reading first thing this morning. I went on a little walk this morning to go grab my coffee. And so this kind of came up while I was walking. It's only like a 2-minute walk down to the gas station. So it's not really a very long time to sit and think, But I did notice that there was something that popped up in my mind this morning, and it was that which we are required or responsible for as loved ones. So, let's go ahead and cleanse the energy. I'm also going to use Palo Santo this morning. So sage is for cleansing the energy, and Palo Santo is not quite for cleansing energy, but for allowing new ideas and innovation to come through. So there's this feeling of obligation that I've been feeling, but it's also mixed with a bit of tension. And last night, I felt an energy of massive anxiety. I wasn't the one who was anxious. I felt, as I was walking home last night after looking at the stars, it felt like this energy just slammed into me, like bam, like out of nowhere. And I was very anxious. And I was like, it's like a chaos in my heart. What is going on? And so I adjusted my own self. I allowed myself to go into a very deep, calm state to calm this energy down. And when I got home, I took a bath to release any of the energies that I had brought onto myself during the day. And there was something else that came up. And it was basically the state of confusion that we go through while we are in the process of increasing our self-awareness and our consciousness. And when we go through this process, it's confusing. It really is. And you feel like you're losing your mind. And I want to assure you, you're not losing your mind. There's too many people out there that are feeling the exact same thing as you. Unless the entire collective consciousness is going absolutely batshit insane, then I think there's too many things that coincide and correlate to say they're not related. Okay? So, this morning I want to tap into this feeling of collective anxiety and confusion and see what kind of answers can we get. It is the beginning of Sagittarius season, my favorite season, because I'm Sagittarius. But this is not just a time for, the dark season, the holidays, and everything like that. This is our time to be philosophical. That's Sagittarius. Sagittarius is expansive. The more we expand our perception, the more we understand. And that's exactly why I love Sagittarius season. I am the type of person that loves to expand not only my mind, my heart, but also my understanding and my perception. And the understanding isn't like a mental understanding. That's the empathic understanding. When we look inward, we see far more than with our own eyes. But this is confusing. So let's start with the shadow deck. Okay, so what is it right now that you need to know that you're dealing with, that you're not dealing with, that you need to deal with? This is the, excuse me, the Book of Shadows Tarot. Okay, very first thing, we have the Maiden of Water here. I love this energy. This is like the energy I spend most of my life in. Look at her. She's playing in the water and there's a dolphin over her head. This is the energy. The energy of, I always say, it's like springtime, like running through a field of daisies in springtime. You can't help but dance and twirl around and sing, "The hills are alive." This is absolute joy, but not just joy in like the sun sense. This is that inner child. The one, yeah, now I'm reminded of the little girl inside of you that used to sit there and pretend that she was walking down the aisle to get married, okay? This is like the energy of the child that has no limitations, no understanding of terrible, bad things. This is absolutely just pure, unadulterated joy. So whether you're in this state already or this is a state you're trying to get into, the energy's here. So how do you tap into that energy? This is the kind of energy I tap into on a daily basis. And it's not just about enjoying life, jumping around and having fun and dancing around, okay? It's about understanding your connectivity, okay? She's not just playing with the water, she's connecting with the water to the point of where now the dolphin wants to play. When we go out into the world and we just see it as our surroundings, we lose a little bit. When we go out into the world and see all of the bustling life around us, like when I sit down and stare at the ants, this is the life of the Maiden of Water. She's connected. And because she's connected, she sees the joy in life. Okay, the other one that came up was Embolic, which is actually the 17 in the Major Tarot, which this one, okay, so this is that maternal, cyclical, yeah. This energy that I'm feeling on this is the, I don't want to say it's the polar opposite of this energy. So this is like the immature energy, but it's not immature, like the immature energy compared to this. This leads to this. When you start to connect to this, you become this. Okay. So what is the shadows that's creating this feeling of anxiety and confusion? Oh, a lot actually came out. What is the energy It needs to be faced and understood. Oh, I'm not going to take all of that. That was okay, so these are non-traditional tarot. They are meant to show us shadows that we are meant to face. Oh, hello. This makes sense as to the feelings of anxiety. Okay, so the first card that came out, is the 9, which is the Hermit card. In this particular deck, it's called the Path. This came out in the reverse, but it came out right next to the 2, which is the High Priestess, and this one is called the Wisdom, and the 4, but the 4 is in the reverse, and that's the God. Oh my gosh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana in this spread. There's only 2 cards that aren't. Yeah. So I feel like there's like a timeline here that I'm looking at. That's exactly what this looks like. Okay, so it feels like you were inadvertently forced into isolation. This could go either way. Either you were inadvertently put into the hermit mode, or you were in isolation or solitude and something brought you out of it, which led to this second card. Something happened while you were in hermit mode, and it created this new reality. That brought out the High Priestess, but it also showed you your wounded masculine. So this doesn't have to be man, woman. This doesn't have to be an external energy. I have both the Priestess and the God. The God's in reverse, the Priestess is in the upright. So there's a possibility that you're tapping into your intuition, but you're not doing the wounded masculine work, okay? I talk about this a lot. Before we bring another person, a physical person, into our environment, we need to heal our own inner wounds. So this shows me that you are working on your feminine, or that your feminine is in the proper receiving position, okay? But there's something that's not settling right in your masculine. Now, understand that your masculine energy, this doesn't mean like, like romance and stuff like that. Your masculine energy is your protective energy, okay? So if you see yourself as having so many different parts, but we're going to just talk about 4 main parts, okay? So we have a higher feminine, a lower feminine, a higher masculine, and a lower masculine, okay? The lower feminine and the lower masculine, they're not evil or bad. These are your fail-safes, okay? I've talked about this in the past, that your heart space, if you look at your heart space as a yin-yang symbol, okay? There's no other person that comes in to make you whole. No. You are all 4 parts of this because you are both energies. Every energy has 2 sides of the coin. So your feminine energy has both a right side up and an upside down, and your masculine energy is a right side up and an upside down, if you want to look at it that way. I see the yin yang as a weapon. If you look at the fact that there's 4 parts, okay, and we think about interactions between these particular energies as possibly volatile, then we can see that the yin yang is like a failsafe. If the white pops in the black, light turns darkness into light, so it completely lights out. If you bust the dark in the light, again, the light completely eliminates the dark. And then the whole thing busts open, an explosion of light. Okay? I'm not saying that the dark is unnecessary. The dark is absolutely necessary. It's a cycle. The cycle of death and rebirth. So when we are ignoring the wounded inner masculine, that is us, and I'm going to say this as a female who has had to heal her inner masculine. This didn't come as me speaking to any men. It was literally me recognizing what I had given up for myself in order to protect another part of me. Let me explain. In order to protect my emotional body and my physical body, I allowed my emotional body to be completely abused. That was me having to deal with the fact that my wounded inner masculine was like, hey, you didn't protect yourself. Okay? So some part of you is wounded, whether it be your protection or your feeling of actually getting something done. This is also something that I had to deal with in my life. I was a person that never finished anything. As soon as I realized there wasn't a challenge, I'd walk away. That was me not healing my inner masculine. I am like reminded of Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. If he can't finish a sentence, he like freaks out. Okay? That's your inner masculine. If he can't finish something, he's gonna freak out. So there's something in your inner masculine that is requiring your attention. And this could very well just be you learning how to connect with that inner masculine so that your external masculine can be like, oh, hey, what is that feeling I'm feeling? Because when you feel it, so does your external. If you are connected in the astral to another individual, we all are, that is your other part of your energy. When energy incarnates, it splits. Okay. The next one we have is Astara. And I'm pretty sure Astara it's the 14 in the major arcana. Yes, it's the Temperance. Okay. So the Temperance card is the next one that comes out. And that's urging you or telling you, actually, no, this feels as though, like I said, it's a timeline, as if you yourself have found that balance. So again, this could be either way. This energy is always there, regardless of whether or not you can perceive it, right? So this very well could be, hey, you have balance. You're just not recognizing it. Or this could be you will be in balance because of, realizing you needed to but recognize, understand, and heal your inner masculine. We don't necessarily have to fix anything. It's honestly just acknowledging your inner masculine can make a huge difference. So this is how you find balance. And then this Temperance card leads into the Three of Water, which is also the Three of Cups. I love this particular image because she's by herself, but she has birds around her. You can't really see that very well. Okay, so you can see like the little birds in the birdie bath, and she's again holding her hands up and being connected. Okay, so this isn't necessarily, you can take this two ways, right? We can take this as there will be somebody else coming into your life fulfilling that trine that you need. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I've got a lot of videos on that. In order for I don't know where it is in my notebook, or I would totally show you right now. In order for us to be able to have that connection to the divine, we have to connect to it. And the reason why this is the 3 of water is the best way for, especially for a feminine to connect is through her emotions, because we're much more connected to our emotions than a masculine, because a masculine is more focused on the physical aspect of life, whereas we are more focused on what we feel, whether it be energetic or emotional. Okay? And again, this doesn't have anything to do with gender. It has everything to do with energy. Okay? So receptive, that's the energy. You are learning how to connect. And again, she's not just connecting with a person. She's connecting with the birds, the water. This feels like a call to connect to that which you cannot see. Okay? And you can do this through your higher self with that Temperance card and healing your inner masculine. Okay, and now we have the Crone of Earth in the reverse. Okay, so in this particular deck, there is no king. It's a crone. And if you don't know what the word crone is, a crone is usually referring to an old bat, an old lady. Like, and I say old bat because I don't mean like a nice old lady. Like, if you look at this picture, she don't look very nice. She looks like, okay. But really, honestly, this is the mother-in-law of the king. Not the mother-in-law of the king. The mother-in-law of the queen. This is the king's mother. And if you know anything about, like, any historical fictions, honestly, the mother-in-law, especially of the king, was typically kind of a tyrant, because she's realizing that her reign is starting to fade. She is no longer the queen. She's the queen's mother now. I mean, the king's mother. And so she's losing her grip on power. So in this particular deck, again, this is a shadow deck. And this Crone of Earth in the reverse, it isn't necessarily... This is you shedding those things that are unnecessary. So the King of Pentacles is a king of wealth, of material abundance. The Crone of Earth, she's in a snowstorm. Elsa, anyone? Particularly in the reverse, this is... That's fair. Sorry. Oh, okay. This is end. This isn't rebirth. This is end. Oh, it's not a bad ending, because the last card that came out, super awesome. Okay, so this is the ending of your death cycle. I don't know if you heard that, but my stomach just growled really loud as soon as I said that. So this is the end of your death cycle, which makes sense, especially with the way that these cards are coming out. And the last one that came out is the 20 in the Major Arcana. This is typically your World card, okay? But in this deck, I love this card because this is everything. And if you think about the World card as everything, if you've reached the 20, you've reached the end of the Major Arcana. Congratulations. If you haven't seen my video on the spiritual evolution through the Major Arcana, go check it out because it's super awesome. This card right here, this is the culmination, okay? I want you to look at this, okay? She is inside of her protection circle. She's got all of her little different elements present in this circle, okay? And she is reaching up to the sky. And she's not just reaching up to one god. She's reaching up to the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And if you look at what side they're on, I know this is a little confusing because a lot of the times cameras flip the image. The divine feminine is on the right hand of this side. She is reaching down her right hand, and the divine masculine is reaching down his left. However, if we're looking at this, that means she's reaching her right hand up to the divine masculine and her left hand up to the divine feminine. So the divine feminine is giving her and she is giving to him. This is a trine. This is exactly what I was talking about. Okay? So this is you connecting to your divine feminine and your divine masculine. Not just you. Remember, your divine feminine and your divine masculine are the divine. The highest form of yourself traces all the way back up to God every single time. We all come from that same exact source. So you can trace your lineage all the way back up to the top. So your highest version of your highest self is the divine. And this is you recognizing that. This is you stepping into the realization that what is given to you, you give right back. And that's exactly what you're meant to do. Not you give, I give, but a never-ending circuit. This is the creation of the electrical circuit within you. Okay? I absolutely love what cards came out here for you. So I am going to continue this reading with 2 more decks just to see if there's anything else that we can come up with. But I'm going to stop it here for YouTube because it's already 27 minutes. And so if you want to see the rest of it, head over to the Patreon. By the way, my membership is totally free. I only put it on Patreon because, well, YouTube. We'll talk about it later. Bye, guys.